Derivatives trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. That didn't sound right. I have my headphones on the wrong way. That's funny that I can tell which is right and left. There we go. Okay. So we are getting actually quite a bit of movement overnight. Let's see what's going on. CNBC. Let's see if there's any interesting headlines over there. JP Morgan shares surge after bank posts record profit and revenue. Cool. Okay. Apple, Disney, Boeing, Tesla, and more. Okay. Tsunami warning in Indonesia. All right. Well, how are you guys doing this morning? I just saw just here before I started that Crypto Christ, it's a funny name, liked our channel on DLive, so thank you for that. We'll talk about DLive today. I've been doing some research, and there's some interesting things about this platform. I'm wondering what you guys are going to think. But first, hold on. Let me get all my windows set up here correctly. Okay. Boom, boom, boom. All right. Let's go to the charts. And hopefully I'll remember to switch off of the charts when I'm done. So you can see here, pretty big move up in equities. Pretty big move down in treasuries. That's like actually a really big move down. That is what I expected it to do yesterday after the CPI data. So what's up with that? Well, I was thinking maybe we wouldn't trade today because it's Friday, and Friday usually sucks. And there's not a whole lot of data in today. Like we've got consumer sentiment and inflation expectations from the University of, is it U of M? I think that's University of Massachusetts, right? Oh, Michigan, sorry. It's from the University of Michigan. So yeah, we got that going on. In the currencies, I can see that this move does appear to be driven by currencies 6J moving down, Euro kind of flat. British pound up, and oil up. Okay. Well, we're very interesting. We are getting a pullback of sorts here, though. So we will have to see. I am going to be very cautious here. Ooh, and the ZB really moved up. So we're still flattening. So that probably speaks to that there might even be more downside. Not for sure, but I don't know. And then finally, we got to talk about the Bitcoin, of course. Overnight here, they did move a little bit lower, as you can see. The chart to the lower left here, that's the Bitcoin futures. So they did move a little bit lower. Good morning, who's jungle? A little bit lower, but not like a huge deal, and quite a bit of a pullback to basically the levels that we were at yesterday. We'll see how high up they can get. They might have trouble. They might have trouble, folks. We'll see. All right, remove some of these windows that we don't need. Yeah. Good morning, Uzi. Oh, that was from yesterday. Let's refresh this. So we get today's stream. There we go. Good morning. So I think this whole thing of starting the stream like right when I come downstairs before I eat and letting the screen go so that you guys can come in and get to the link and then we actually start it when we get going has been working really well because you're all able to get in and we can talk about this stuff that we're seeing here at the beginning. So that's cool. I'm happy with that. All right, cool. Oh, what do we got here? Okay, so let's type some stuff into the Discord here. All right, so for you guys on, oh, there we see it. Now I see Uzi saying good morning. Ah, so it was China data. Ah, was China data was good, and that is why we moved down. So they must have been waiting for that. That's why it was so quiet yesterday. Interesting. Okay. So a question for you guys on DLive. Have you actually created a, how many of you guys have created a wallet and actually like put money into it so that you could use it? Have you guys done that? So I was looking at it yesterday, and the thing that really tripped me up was that it's okay. So Who's Jung Al says that he has. Alligator says, seems overextended to me, but as it happened overnight, another leg is always possible. Gotcha. And JG Mod, good morning as well. So the thing that tripped me up with DLive is like the first thing that I wanted to do was go into CoinMarketCap and see, you know, like all of the information about the blockchain and everything like that. I guess my understanding is that it's actually still a test net. So we're putting money to buy coins on a test net, I guess. Which you would think would be like, well, that's no good. But apparently, like, it doesn't really matter because the price of the what do we call these Lino coins is arbitrary. Like there's nowhere that you can go and like trade it. The only place that you can get it from is DLive. I bought through the mobile app. It's better to go through the website and use PayPal. It's a better deal. So here's the issue that I have with this. Correct at the moment. Okay. So it might change in the future. Right? But right now it's like it's pegged. It's like 1.2 Lino coin per to a dollar or something like that. But and the best way to do it, yeah, I would hope so. Yeah, that's exactly my thought. Like, here's the thing: is that if you're using PayPal to just buy a token, that's not. I'm pretty sure that's against the PayPal terms of service. 100 equals 120. 100 Lino coins equals $1.20. Gotcha. No, I'm pretty sure that is against PayPal's terms of service. So what happens when PayPal comes in and shuts it down? Then what? You would only be able to transfer Bitcoin over to get it, right? But so that was the first thing that I found out about DLive that I was kind of like, that doesn't sound right to me. Like, that's not the way that it should be. But then the one that really bothers me is that when you have Lino coin, you can put it in your wallet and you can, you know, choose to have it paid back out to you. And my understanding is that if you like put $10 into Lino coin and then you paid yourself back out, you wouldn't get $10 back. You'd get like $8.50 or $7.50 or something like that. And then you can choose, well, every time that you make a transaction, like 10% of it or something like that gets redistributed to everybody that has their line of coins locked. So you can choose to lock your line of coin, and then that prevents you from being able to pull it out for a certain amount of time. But in exchange, you get like interest on it. Essentially, every transaction, you get a percentage of that. Except for that one wallet owns like 99% of all Lino coin. So DLive is basically getting that 10%. Yes, it's 10%. So like, here's why this bothers me. Like normally if I was seeing that in a cryptocurrency, and when I saw that initially, I was like, oh, okay, like that sounds like a good model and everything. Like it actually sounds like they have a model here based on a cryptocurrency that is good. That could work as a business plan. Except for that they're lying to us about it. Because they make this huge deal on the front page that they don't take a cut of your earnings and you get all of it. It's not true. It's bullshit. They're taking more than 10% because they're taking 10% of every transaction. And then they're also taking money because you can't actually pull it out for the same amount. So I'm not saying that it's like a scam or anything like that, but there's certainly reason to be concerned because they're kind of lying. You know what I mean? They don't take anything from my subs? What exactly does that mean? So do they not take the 10% when somebody subs to you? Is that what that means? How does that work exactly? Yes. Okay. So he says, yes, online I'll given to you 10%. So he's saying if somebody donates 10%, or sorry, if somebody gives you a Lino coin, then you get, 0.8 of a Lino coin. But if somebody subscribes to you, you get all of that, is what you're saying. 100% of sub revenue. Okay. Yeah. I guess that's acceptable. That's what I'm saying. It's like, I don't know. I hope I hope you're not opening wrong windows today, if you know what I mean. What? It's how they make money. It's totally how they make money. Like that's the thing that kind of was like, that's a red light. Is that there weren't. It took me too long to figure out and understand how they make money. You know. And the concern that I have is like you go in and you buy a ton of their coin so that you can have some say on their future platform. And then PayPal comes along and says, "Oh, we can't process your transactions anymore because it's against our terms of service." And then they just shut it down, and DLive goes, "Oops, I'm sorry. I guess we're just gonna have to keep all of your money." You know what I mean? That's normally how something like this would go down. Like I'm going to bet. Like let's just assume for a second that it's all totally legit, okay? But that something happens and the business venture doesn't work out. Like they can't support the servers anymore and they have to close down. I'm gonna bet you that the way that this is gonna go down is it's gonna end up with everybody asking for their Lino coin and not getting it. That's how that probably happens. Hopefully they don't break down though. Everything that I've seen about the way that the service works and everything seems like pretty cool though. I'm a little skeptical about how much money you could, like if you were a big streamer, I'm a little skeptical about would you actually make money from it and how much money could you actually make from it, but we'll see. We'll see. I'm not opening any wrong windows today. I have the right one up. Yes, I do. I do. And yeah. I don't know. So it's been 10 minutes. I'm seeing some icebergs. They did push a little bit lower. So certainly some opportunity up in here, but I'm not quite sure what to do with it. I can't imagine PewDiePie didn't vet this thoroughly. He's taking a big gamble. Yeah, that's a good point. Like, I mean, I'm not like a devout follower of PewDiePie, so I don't know him personally too well to say like, how good he would be at vetting things and stuff like that. But you would hope that he vetted it thoroughly, and that given that he's putting that much money behind it, that he's had like real discussions with them, and that they've given him a thorough explanation of how the business works and everything like that. I think though that probably would be better if they were a little bit better at explaining that they are making money off of this by, you know, owning all of the Lino coin. But the other thing is that they don't really, I don't know. We're gonna have to see as time goes on, because they do have a blockchain explorer, but it's not like fully featured. And I was watching this guy that he was saying that like 99% of it is all in one wallet, because it's based on an Ethereum token, and so they could look at it with an Ethereum blockchain. But that wouldn't tell you how much is locked, right? Like you could hold 99% of it and it's not locked. So I don't know how that part actually works. Can you briefly mention what an iceberging is for my brother? Okay, so do you see there at 050 that there's 5,122? Or let me get my pen out. Bum, 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 and we'll make this big. Okay, so this price right here that I'm highlighting, okay, that was the number of market cells that sold into 050, okay? Now look here at these columns right here, right? So there are some outsized orders here down here that are actually larger than 5,000. But if you look at the actual inside, there is not 5,000 on that one, 045, right? Right now there's 2,011. So if we tick down and it takes more than 2,000 orders to clear that particular price, then that is an indication that maybe there's an iceberg there. And what an iceberg actually is it's a special type of order. The exchange calls it specifically a refreshing order. And what it does is it will say, I want to buy 5,000 contracts, but I only want to show 50 at a time on the DOM. Okay, so there was a little bit of an iceberg there. It took 28.36 to trade through it, which isn't a huge deal, but it is a thing. And not a ton on the offer yet, so we may get another tick back up. But it's stacking to over 2,000. So my take on it usually is like if it's below 1,000, then that's usually like balance is going to tick up and down. Oh my. Okay, so did you see that time? It actually did pull and some people bought it, but then nothing happened. And then as soon as they did that, somebody hit 4040 again. But you can see here, there was an iceberg at that price. 42.53 trading there. Yes, okay, yeah. So there is an iceberg there. Somebody is buying at 040. Possibly profit taking. So that particular one I'm not gonna make a huge deal out of. But when you see an iceberg, I guess the gist of it is when you see an iceberg, that is a potential indication that price might hold. If you really see a strong iceberging at a level and it's like a slow day, and you're not seeing a lot of icebergs, that is very, very often where it turns around. Now, if you get a really big iceberg, like sometimes you'll see like a 10K. Okay, so this one is maybe they're going to trade 10K there at 040. Okay. Usually when it gets that big, they are not going to do anything until they've completely traded through that iceberg. And then the market has a decision to make. Is there more people willing to sell? And if we do have more people willing to sell, that can be a real significant indication of trend. And so what you will see on a trend day is you will see a huge iceberg and they'll go through it. Huge iceberg and they'll go through it just over and over and over and over and over again. But what also will tend to happen more often is they'll go through that iceberg for a tick or two. Like they'll trade through this at 04, maybe even clear 03 half and touch 03, and then come back to 040. And then maybe you can look at it from there and say maybe there's possibly a pivot there or something like that. Yeah. But anyways, when you're trading it, what happens is, if they sell 50, then that guy got 50 filled, and the exchange will automatically show the next 50. And so that's why what you will actually see when you're watching it is 10,000 will trade here, even though the amount that was on the bid was at 850 the whole time, right? Now you can get this thing that just as you're trading into it, people are adding bids. So it can be hard to know for sure that it's all like one guy, but usually doesn't really matter anyways. The important thing to note here is that it took 10,000 contracts to clear that price. CryptoChrist, does this apply to crypto on Coinbase Pro? It can. So I don't know. I don't think that Coinbase actually has a quote unquote refreshing order, but a robot can still create a synthetic refreshing order, right? It'll just say, okay, I'll put up 50, and then when that 50 gets filled, I'll put up another 50, and I'll just keep doing it and doing it and doing it until I've done everything that I want, right? It's kind of hard to see without this kind of a tool that kind of shows you like how much is actually trading into it. But if you go and you watch the DOM on Coinbase and you look at how much is trading, you'll get a tape like this, right? So you want to look at this and look at the tape and say, okay, I saw a sell, I saw a sell, I saw a sell, and it was the same. The level 2 never changed. So somebody probably accumulated a ton right there at that spot. And that's how you do it there. And by the way, I have here, let me get you the link for this. I have a tape. I have a tape that can actually help you with this. Let's see here. If we go to github.com/twdsje and then advanced crypto order tape. Yes. So if you go here, I'll put it in the DLive chat. That is a tape that will reconstruct the trades for you and allow you to filter things. So you can make it so that like it will only show you the really large orders, and you can make it. It also shows you the cumulative delta, so you can compare. Is there more market selling or market buying at this time? And you can actually watch the cumulative delta. If you watch it over time, you'll notice that when they make a push, the cumulative delta will move a certain amount. I think it's something like 100 Bitcoin. And then that's usually when they'll do a pullback and stop, which can be really, really useful. But I wouldn't necessarily recommend day trading cryptocurrencies, but definitely when I was buying, and selling, it definitely helped. I did that stuff. I didn't use that particular tape for it, but when I was trading on Bittrex for Siacoin went up, and I got almost the exact top. I had mined a ton of it, and I wanted to take off like half up at the top, and I thought, okay, I'll take off half, and then I think there's going to be a pullback, and then we'll see what happens. Probably should have taken it all off, but I got almost, like 30 minutes later was when Coin topped and crashed. So these sorts of things definitely can tell you stuff, right? Okay, so they've traded back and forth here at 040 a couple of times. If today was how do I say this? Today is Friday. Friday usually sucks, and a lot of my signals just don't work on Fridays. But it tends to be more range bound on Friday when there's no news. So that would be, if it's range bound and I'm seeing an iceberg like that, that's a good spot to buy. So I'm thinking about buying. But we had this really strong trend down today, overnight. So that's why I'm holding off. I'm thinking about it, but I don't know. It is definitely. So, oh, hey, Rackley, how have you been? So, hey, Seth, what do public subscribers on your Patreon get? I have some people asking me about it. Showed them some of your charts. Oh, thank you for sharing. I want you guys to share the Patreon chart. Look at that. I think maybe this is a spot. Sold most of my Bitcoin when we went to 150 plus. I can buy back at lower price already, but I think we'll go lower. Oh, so you sold up here at like 55, over 5,000. Good job. Yeah. So the way it works, I think that there's two of them, but the $1 one is just like, hey, I like your stuff, and I just wanted to show some support, sort of a thing. But the $5 subscription, basically what happens is I post the charts with a brief little note about what I think about the action that day, like the price action that day. And if you subscribe, then you get it that day, right? The people that are the larger public, you can read that post a week later. So I basically have it set up so that like you can see the indicator and you can look at the chart and what I was saying at the time to say, oh, okay, this guy might actually have something, but you get it far enough behind that it's probably not as useful to you a week later, right? So that's the way that I have it set up. But I still kind of have it set up as like, I want people to be able to use it. Like, I want people to understand what's going on here and popularize this method of valuing cryptocurrencies so that Bitcoin becomes more stable, and yet at the same time still generate some revenue enough to, increase the amount of cryptocurrencies that I could buy when we're actually down to buy. So that's why I have it set up that it's only $5, and even if you're not paying the $5, you can still get the information. You just get it a little later. Okay, so Alligator pointing out that there is definitely some support here at 040, but that ZT is not really reflecting the same stuff. Let's pull that up here. Yeah, ZT is still putting pressure to move lower. Yes. So the public can see all charts 1 week later. Yep. And you can see all of them, all of the altcoins that I've got on there. Like the thing with the altcoins, Does I don't know, like you can look at the chart and you can definitely see stuff in there and everything, but I personally haven't been able to figure out anything super clear from those charts that I'm like, this is like definitely tradable. Like it tells you something about what the coin is right now, but it seems to be that most of these coins don't have enough activity for you to really be able to make any kind of a call like that. So yeah, Rackley has the $5 sub. Yep. See, when I created it originally, if I didn't have people doing the $1 sub, I think that there's like 2 people that are doing the $1 sub, then I would probably get rid of it. But you know, it is the way it is. You know, maybe at some point I might come up with different tiers and provide other stuff, but for now, it's been working pretty well. And the subscribers that I have, like that's one of the things that just really inspires me, is that we've had that same group of like a dozen subscribers or so for like 18 months now. So like that says to me that people are totally using it. And anytime that there is like a significant point, like that's when you start to see comments on the posts and stuff. So they're definitely like making use of it. And I've had people tell me, I forget who it was, but you remember that guy Rackley? He came in and he was like, "Oh, I was long way up at like 10K or above 10K, and I got out because of your indicator, and I saved myself like $30,000 or something like that." I was like, "Holy shit!" Wow. Sometimes I even wonder, like, maybe there is a whale. Maybe one of my subscribers is a whale, because I've seen some instances where when I start saying something and then I start to see weird behavior in Bitcoin, and it isn't always necessarily the direction that I would like to see it go. You know what I mean? But yeah, Victor, Sestopis. I don't know how to say that. I think that it's Vitkov Sestopis. Thank you for the follow. Okay, hey, we got a tick up. They ticked up at 050. I like it. I really need to get a different mic stand so that I can get the, really, really close, so that I can always sound, boomy and sexy. Because back here, it's not so great, is it? Yeah, I saw that on one of the comments of the chart, if I remember correctly. Yeah, it is really, the whole thing is really interesting. It's like the thing that, when I was making this, right? The way that I made it was I said, well, maybe I actually can like value cryptocurrency. So I started going out there looking at what data was available and everything. And I said, well, here's my theory about how cryptocurrencies work. And my theory was that the reason that a cryptocurrency is worth something, people say it doesn't have any intrinsic value. I say it does have intrinsic value. The ability to make a transaction is intrinsic value. Sestopis says my first follow here. Thank you. I appreciate it. Anyways, that was my theory. And a lot of it was based off of what was going on with Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin at the time. And I was just looking, there was a big argument, and I felt like that the guys in Bitcoin Cash had it right. And I said, well, I think I can prove it. So I looked at what the data was available out there, and I said, okay, here's a theory about one way that I could value it. And I went in and I did the chart, right? And the first time that I did it, it was like, well, I think that there's something here, but there's like way too much going on. It's not, you can't use it. So then I just said, okay, I'll just apply some filters to it and smooth things out. And that's when you get the chart that you see on my Patreon. Can Gold Coup? Thank you. You're just I don't know what that SAA is, but I appreciate the comments anyways. Anyways, when I smoothed it out, that was the chart that you got. And so there's no curve fitting to it. It was literally like I came up with the formula and what I put in just worked. And the chart was so absolutely perfect. Like it was like exactly what I thought you would tend to see. That every time that we had a bubble, it would be saying that we're way overvalued. It totally works. In my opinion, crypto has more intrinsic value. Fiat money is just that. It's in the name declared by fiat. There's nothing backing it besides debt. Yeah, okay, so they're going for a new low. I think that this trade is not working out. Yeah, I only got one tick out of that. And for them to have traded 040 and not iceberg, that says that we're wrong. So I started buying gold and silver. Well, there you go. Yeah, I mean, I think well, again, that's where, like, in my opinion, the primary intrinsic value that you get from any currency is your ability to make transactions with it. And the better transactions that you can make with it, the more that it's worth. So I agree with you in that respect, right? There are things that you can do with cryptocurrency that you can't do with cash, right? So you can attach contracts to it and do all of these sorts of things. So you can carry out far more sophisticated transactions with it. And so that makes it that gives it more value. But I guess my indicator is is relative, right? It's just saying how much are people actually doing in transactions on the blockchain, and how does that compare to price? And then you can see very clearly that there's quite a significant historical correlation to it. Now, when I did it, it was a little disappointing too, because it basically said that we were about to have a bubble. and sure enough, that's exactly what happened. And then, it did it again, like I bought it. And then I thought, oh, okay, so maybe this is as far as it goes, and I buy it here, and then we get another run in the future. But then it goes up and it shows that it was overbought at that point, which I actually kind of expected, because you do get the, what do they call it? The bull trap. I was like, this is probably a bull trap, but I hope it's not. But it was a bull trap, so I sold it. And then I've just kind of been sitting out on the sidelines. I think people got overexposed to it before they fully understood the capabilities. Too many people dynoed off. I really think, well, it was a bubble. It was, I'm not sure there's any other way to describe what happened other than that it was a bubble. And I tell you what, one of the things when it moved up that I noticed, and I don't know how to express this quantitatively, but it definitely happened when we were moving up before the crash, before the bubble popped. When we were moving up, it was like you'd have a move up, and there was news, and you have a move up, and then there was this one day where it moved up, and I saw people like on my Facebook talking about buying cryptocurrencies, and the news that day was that the buying it moved up a lot that day, but the move was, wow, okay, so I got filled there, and they actually hit into 04.5, and there was iceberging there, and it's flipped, and that's not supposed to happen. Why did that? What just happened there? Okay, the 10-year just turned around. Sorry, the 2-year just turned around. I think that I just got into another bad trade. What? 7? Oh. Okay, let's look here really quick. ECB's pretty. Don't see de-anchoring of inflation expectations. IMF cheap in Japan saying something, but I'm not seeing a move in the Japanese yen. I'm not seeing a move in equities. This whole thing is just really weird. Anyways, back to what I was saying. Coinbase was seeing like a record volume. And so it was like as soon as the public was buying in, and that's when we crashed. Damn. Well, I just got fucked, guys. That was wild. Chevron trade share buybacks. That kind of a move is kind of, it appears to me like that could be a news driven move, but I'm not seeing anything. Now, this is exactly why I say that Friday tends to be a shitty day, guys. I usually don't do very well on Friday. Just warning you. But they just bought through 2 big icebergs. Really. So I'm a little wary because I just got tossed 2 ways. But that appears to me to be a reversal in trend. Yep. Damn. That sucked. -3. Okay. And now it's kind of showing itself balanced there at 06. Let's see if we can get this to work out for us. Thank you for man, some of you guys' names too hard to pronounce. I get what the deal is. You create a name that's really weird and hard to pronounce, and then see the entertainment of the streamers trying to pronounce it. Wow. The way that this has worked, I think that we're going to move up higher, and especially since there was some iceberging there at 05.5. Motor mouth midget. See, there's one that I can just say. Thanks for the follow, guys. So Rackley, you did gold and silver. You just buy it directly, or? Alligator says can't find anything special except for pray about inflation in the EU. Okay, so there was a big bid at 06.5. There was an iceberg in our favor at 06.5. The way that they're trading, though, they might be, I don't know. Okay. Well, so far it's giving me the kind of action I want to see. The problem though is when I bought the first time, it was giving me the kind of action that I want to see, and then it just, suddenly stopped and flipped. I'm Dad Karimi. How's it going? Winter Math Midget. I came over from YouTube after seeing a video about the site. Figured I'd give it a try. Oh, that's good. So, how did you find the DLive link from YouTube? Because I don't think I posted that anywhere. Well, they tried to clear '06, but they pushed it back down. Alligator says also a reversal for me. Not sure how far it can go. Well, '06 half is definitely a spot to think about. Also, that 070. Yeah, because I think I have like the Twitch link linked, but not the DLive one. But I suppose you could say, oh, do they have a DLive channel, and just type it in and see if it catches it. I love that GIF. It's so freaking hilarious, dude. Well, they're still iceberging. Like, I don't know. The offer is still iceberging. No, I was watching a video from a guy named Tim Pool talking about the site, so I just Googled the web address. I'm a content creator as well. Oh, okay, cool. Cool. Yeah. I'm still, I have a little bit of mixed feelings about DLive because there's some things about the way that the cryptocurrency seems to be working right now that I'm not like super excited about. Like if it was like actually like on an exchange and being traded, I would feel a lot better about it. Um, but we're just gonna see how it goes because it's easy for me to restream, right? Restream is so great, by the way. It's just I love restream, and it allows me to stream to YouTube, Twitch, and DLive, and it gives me this nice little chat window. Good morning, Ace. That allows me to keep track of all of my chats. Um, Although it doesn't show the DLive ones, so I have to have that open in a separate window. So it doesn't really cost me anything, but it's been working. Big Gold 555, good morning. Well, they are moving up, but that bid at 060 is a little skittish. That could be a lure. So a lure is like you intentionally make it look weak, like you don't want to put anything on the bid at 060 in the hopes that they start hitting it, and then you can maybe get filled there at 06. But you can never know. Those ones are super hard to catch. Now, if you see that it pulls, like there's 12, 13 there, and a couple of orders go through, and it doesn't tick down, and then immediately you start seeing people hit into 06 half, you buy that, man, because that's the lure. How about streaming to BitTube? Even the viewers get paid. I'd have to look at that one. I haven't heard of that site before. See, and that's the other thing about DLive was that when I read about it and that it was like a streaming platform based on a cryptocurrency and everything, I thought, oh, so does that mean that they're using miners' bandwidth or viewers' bandwidth or something to provide the bandwidth to stream to everybody? Like, how does that work? But I don't think that is the case. I don't think that's how it goes. But I would like to see that. I feel like if it was on an exchange, then it would be regulated, and that is the benefit of crypto. It is unregulated. Well, yeah, but the problem with the way that it is right now is that it's really not a cryptocurrency in that respect, then. It's just a token. You're just buying a token, and the company that is giving the token to you has complete control over it. So at that point, it's not any different from like any kind of V-Bucks that you can buy in games, right? I'm short 2909.75, and may God have mercy on my soul. Oh man, I totally understand that feeling, Ace, because I think this is what he's thinking. So we had this huge move up in the E-mini, and we're sitting right here, kind of rotating back and forth around this price. And oh, by the way, treasuries are moving up. So it's like, I think it can go long, but I don't know what's going on in treasuries. So that kind of gives me pause. But if I have to take a trade, it's probably has to be long. And so, ooh, I totally get, I don't know. But Ace is pretty good at this, so. Right, but you can convert it to physical money based on everything I have heard. Yeah. So they redeem it back to you, but I need to check this for myself. I think I need to go in and like buy $5 of the currency and then immediately try to pay myself back out, because my understanding is that they don't give you as much when you get paid back out, which to me is kind of like okay, you know what I mean? Is just kind of like I wouldn't normally see anything wrong with that. It seems like if I was a business and I was going to do it based off of a token, that would be the way to do it. And using the cryptocurrency as the backing for your token would be a great way to do it, because then everybody knows how it works and it's all public and everything. But you got to tell people that that's how, that you're making money through those ways. And I think that they're kind of trying to hide that from us, That is the case with Twitch, but I heard yesterday that DLive doesn't take a cut. So DLive doesn't take a cut from the subscriptions. When you guys donate to me, 10% of that goes to people that have locked DLive coins. I think the thing that we need to do is we need to be able to go and explore the blockchain and see how much coin is actually locked out there. Fear of missing out. If I would have waited, I would have gotten a much better fill at 29.10.50. Oh, where did you buy? Oh. I don't know. That I think that you would see the E-mini revert back to the mean. But they had such a strong move up overnight that it's the same thing I'm dealing with over here. Is like I saw a signal at 04.5 that's like, hey, I think you buy that. And then what happened? We had like this move down that stopped me out, and then this move up that stopped me out. And now I have 2 ticks in my favor, but they're not going any further. They're bouncing off of 070. I just sent 10 bat with the Brave Bowser to your channel, but you have to register with them, I think. Okay. And is that the BitTube that you're talking about? I gotta do, so one of the things that's been irking me, I was never able to get it to work, was I wanted the videos to be uploaded to BitChute. Yes, that's what it's called, BitChute. And it's supposed to be like built in and automatic, but it doesn't work for me for whatever reason. Then the more people spend time on your page, the more bat you get. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, the problem right now is there's it seems to me like there's a couple of different people that are trying to combine basically YouTube with cryptocurrencies, and I don't know if there's a clear winner yet. So there's like so many to try, but I'm totally willing to do it. So I'll try and give that a look tonight. Saturday is the county Republican convention where they're going to elect all of the party leaders and everything, and I'm going to be at that all day tomorrow. And then on Sunday, I usually record my little political video, which I'm going to have to do a bit more preparation for. So I don't know if I'm going to have a ton of time to dink around with things this weekend, but maybe on Sunday, or maybe if not then on Tuesday, I can give a little bit more look at that sort of stuff. BitGold555 just followed. Thank you very much. Oh, but Brave Browser is really the guy that made Oracle as the CEO. Oh, I know what you're talking about now. No, I totally have that, I think. You're talking about Brave Rewards, yeah? Totally use that. So see right here, they did sell it, and I'm surprised that they sold it through 060. And there was an iceberg, but they got through it. So now, are they going to push it up or not? Well, I suppose that if Ace really does get his short here, then probably it will move the treasuries up. But we'll see. The cumulative delta is such that we could see more of a move up. For the first time in years, my connection to my broker is having trouble. Who do you use, by the way? Oh, okay. Brave Rewards is Batcoin. Okay. So how does it know that it's my YouTube? Oh, okay. So I think that I just need to go and visit them, and then, or like go to the YouTube page and then click on Brave Rewards, and then you can verify. Oh, I can see here you have a grant waiting for you, 1/19/2019. Okay, tick back up. And if I click claim, it doesn't do anything. Oh, Ace uses AMP futures as well. Well, there you go. And are you using Rhythmic or CQG? Yeah, I have to look at that later. One of the things that's hard is that at work, lately I've had a bit of time to do this because there's been a lot of meetings and then just waiting on decisions, But there's iron port, so I can't really visit anything. Ace Trades uses CQG. See, I'm using Rhythmic. This is probably an issue with CQG. Okay. What is the 2-year doing here? Okay, so I thought we fixed this in the 2-year, but it's giving me both of them offer. So maybe my instrument settings are still broken with the 2-year. That kind of frustrating me. That's kind of frustrating. Smash the Bid says he uses CQGs and he's not having any issues. I suppose it could just be your internet. Okay, so let's see here. DLive says it gives 90.1% of all subscription and gift revenue directly to creators to reward the most popular live streamers. The other 9.9 goes into a pool that rewards people based on their contributions to the network. DLive doesn't take a cut of the creators' revenue. There are processing fees from third-party providers associated with converting lineup points into actual and vice versa. Yeah. But see, if they are... So it goes into a pool that rewards people based on contributions to the network. Well, if you... So that basically it's people that have locked coins in get that money, right? Well, if DLive owns 90% of the money that's locked into that, then really they are taking a cut, right? But we don't actually know how much coin out there is really locked in. We can look at the Lino blockchain using an Ethereum Explorer because it appears to be an ERC20 token, but you would have to know what they use to signify that it's locked in. Okay, so there's an iceberg at 06 half. There was an iceberg at 05 half too. Actually, there was an iceberg here at this spot last time. I don't know. 08 Straits uses Sierra chart. Okay. That was weird. Just stopped. No movement, but the internet was fine. I've lost the internet before. It's terrifying. Yeah. You know, since I've been here on, I have X Mission. And X Mission is the most amazing internet service provider ever. And I've never had any kind of interruptions with my internet connection in the whole, like, I moved here in October, so the whole year and a half that I've lived here or so, I don't think I've ever had a problem. Had problems with Comcast all the time. I had this one thing that was happening where I was like being throttled. It was like, okay, so there they traded through 070. Are you using a fixed or web API connection? Yeah, I don't even know what that means. Okay. So they're showing some balance at 07, which would be, which is reasonable given that that was the open price. And the 5-year isn't exactly like, you know, the 5-year is ticking up there, but there's going to be a resistance point at 07 3/4 in the 5-year. I have battery backups, but the provider once in a while goes down. I gotcha. How much battery backup do you have? How long does it last for? Like 20 minutes? I should probably. I had one and then it died on me, but they're a lot cheaper now than when I bought that one. Battery technology has gotten much more efficient. Okay. So there was just a little flip there. Hmm. I'm not sure if that's what he's talking about. You can have an API that's based off of like a WebSocket, or you can be using like the straight CQG protocol that they've developed. I think that's what he's talking about. Yeah. In your data/trade service settings, it's how you connect to CQG. Gotcha. And I'm assuming that you would want to be through the fixed API, right? See, the level 2 is playing a lot of games here. They tick down at 06 half, but they don't put a strong offer on it. IMF's International Monetary Fund's Thompson, Italy has made progress on non-performing loans. Oh, Chinese credit flood trade balance data bounce causes S&P to surge above 2,900. Okay, well, now they're telling me that you missed your chance. They're like, sorry, Seth. Look at that. The bid's just completely pulled. Every step. Well, I think that they are definitely messing with us today, guys, because those ticks down at 06 and 05 half are, considering that there was all this iceberging and all this activity and everything, and then all of a sudden they're just able to trade down with for no reason. Basically, the bid just completely disappears and they take down 4 ticks. That's a bamboozle right there. Yeah, Adrian, lots of bamboozles. That's where I'll get the word. That's what we need to call it. That's because of Apex Legends. That's the cool term now. So here's another thing about DLive that kind of bothers me. So we get about, right now we've got 4 followers on DLive, and we've got 10 on YouTube, although the one on YouTube kind of doesn't update quite exactly. Usually we're between 12 and 24 on YouTube. But maybe some people are splitting, moving over or whatever. Anyways, but I've had a ton of people come in and like my channel and everything like that on DLive, but there's still 4 people watching. So I'm also kind of sitting here wondering, well, do they do something where they like create artificial activity? Like I'm paranoid like that. I'm not saying that that's what's happening, but like it's kind of making me wonder. See, that shouldn't happen, folks. Hmm. Well, see, and the cumulative delta hasn't changed. When money is possible, anything has happened. Oh, sorry, there was a couple of comments here that I missed. What is a level flip and what does it likely indicate? So, usually when I say flip, what I mean is like right now, there's only 600 on the bid and there's 2628 on the offer. What if all of a sudden there was 2,000 on the bid and there was only 500 on the offer? Get what I'm saying? So that's what I mean when the level 2 has flipped at that particular price. It's like all of a sudden the inside bids decided to do something different. And in this particular kind of action, I'm I think that that's important to look at because we ticked down 4 ticks with barely any volume to actually sell, right? Like it took us how many 10K iceberg orders did we go through to trade up to 070? And then it trades back down to 060 on only like, 500 contracts on each level. Like that's not normal. That's not normal. That's the sort of thing that only happens on Fuck Me Up Friday. you know what I'm saying? You smelling what I'm stepping in? And they're just, again, they were able to tick back up. Look at this. 500, 400, and we did tick up again. Maybe we tick up again and it's 1,000 this time, but yeah, they're messing with us. Now the E-mini seems to be part of the thing here. If the E-mini moves down, then we're in business. But it doesn't seem to be sure what it wants to do. There wasn't clear, when you look here, there wasn't a clear direction on the open. They don't want to stay in front of the train. Buyer's confidence still low, especially at the ES open. Yeah. Okay, so there was a bit of a buy there, and it didn't go. I find right at the turning points quite often they do that on a rally on the inside offer thins out, and then when no one lifts the bid and the level flips quickly and the bid starts getting hit, we start selling off from there. Yeah. And it's often so quick that there's not a whole lot that you, the retail trader, can do about it, right? Hmm. And the 5-year has been incredibly volatile through this whole thing too. I think that's part of why they're moving the way that they are, is because the 5-year is doing it. Yeah. I found when you're trying to look for like doing order flow trading and like looking for signals, I always just look at like what is the typical thing that it tends to do, right? Well, normally you'll see like there won't be very much on the bid, and then they'll tick up, and then if it ticks up and it stays, and maybe there's 500 on the bid, and then it'll increase to like 1,500, then maybe a couple will trade back and forth, and then maybe it increases to 2,000, and then maybe the offer pulls, and then the offer pulls up, it pulls enough that they can tick it up again, and then they repeat that. Like that's the normal thing, right? Um, well, I mean it changes, but that's the most common thing that you see like in a trend. And then when you're not seeing that anymore, like that's a signal like, something's up. And you don't necessarily know what is up, but you know something is up, right? So the big change that we saw today was, hey, we were getting icebergs all over the place, and now all of a sudden nobody's holding it. Okay. Some E-mini playing some defense here on the low of this opening range. Okay. They went down, but they didn't hit 2908.25 yet. Come on. They're kind of trying. See, it's interesting. There was a little bit of a buy on the E-mini open, but they're actually testing that low. And the Treasury just ticked up. Okay. There they are again. But they're not hitting 29.0825 yet. It keeps getting bought back up. In fact, the cumulative delta is actually going long here now. Okay, now there is a huge offer showing up in the Treasuries. So now they're telling us something I'm not quite sure what. Well, normally that's going to push us down, but that's way too big. Okay, and then they did break the high end of that range. Just a little bit. Forex Live says US stocks open with strong gains. I guess if you count the overnight action, but oh man. I looked away for a second and it downticked on me, huh? Well, that sucks that I never got filled at '07. I should have been a little bit more concerned when it was getting back here, you know? Mad. It was a good trade, and then it just didn't go for very far, and I just didn't get out fast enough. And you know that as soon as I go short, they're just gonna flip it on us again. uh, well, we do have some stuff at the top of the hour, so. Donald Trump. President Obama's top White House lawyer, Gregory B. Craig, was indicted yesterday on a very serious charge. This is a big story, but the fake New York Times didn't even put it on page 1, rather page 16. And the Washington Post, not much better, tiny page 1, corrupt news. So now when we get back to 040, we're seeing the icebergs again. And the E-mini is buying. And that 8K is still sitting up there at 06. What's the downside target? Well, that's a good question, actually. We have to like really go out to see that far back. I think they've already touched it. Okay. So that time they ticked up there. And E-mini is kind of getting a little dramatic. So I think you could get filled at 040. Well, the E-mini was getting a little dramatic, but then they've calmed down and they're still at the high. So I think that there might be another push. Scalping environment, need to be on your toes. Just the 1 point at opening, but it made up for yesterday's loss. Now long in the E-mini. Oh, there you go. If you had gotten long, then you're probably doing great. You think I could buy a long here in the E-mini? Yeah, sure. Watch, as soon as I do it, that's when it's going to go down. Okay. Oops. I clicked there twice and I wanted the 50. Okay. Man, here in the E-mini, some of these levels are so up there. Like you could totally, if you had like a 60-point up day, you could break a new high, but that would be absurd. Might we might consider doing an as she goes here. Yep. Okay. So the E-mini is probably going to want to get through this strong offer here at 29.15. And the treasuries are all set up for a level break here. And we've got a lot of cumulative delta, um, like trapped. But they ticked up. Hmm. That big offer moved. And now it's basically gone. And the E-mini's taking a break. Jeez. Think I'm going too much for momentum today, guys. Just what live news feed do you watch? I just have a bunch of people on Twitter that I'm watching right now. Oh man, guys. I'm out of my mind right now, I think. Like obviously we would not be taking any of these trades on a live account, but cuz that's 3 in a row. But now I'm going to have a fourth one that's bad. Sometimes this happens to you, but that's why when you get 3 in a row, you probably should just stop trading your live account and move to sim. Look at the mini. See, there's another follow. Artemis Crypto. Thank you. A couple more people watching. So what was it about that price that I thought I saw? So my thought right now is, would I go long in the E-mini? No, I don't think I would. There's still a strong offer, but it's a little bit higher now. Hmm. It's thinking about ticking up, but it's not doing it. You're going back to what you did last summer, chasing prices at bad spots. I've yes, well, I've done both, right? The thing is that there's been some places where I did take it against the grain, and when I did take it against the grain, they pushed it a little bit lower, and then they flipped around. Would have kept going, but you made it reverse. Sometimes you have to wonder, man. You know what I mean? I think that what's going on here is that it's just that the action is flipped and I'm not adjusting correctly. Um, but even still here looking at it, it's kind of like, there's been a lot of buying here at 04. But are they actually going to go and push it down lower? I mean, I thought that they were going to push it down lower, but then it didn't go. So now I'm thinking, okay, I should be buying it here. But look, my buying is not. I mean, it's going okay. The E-mini does look like they did something there. I mean, 4K on the bid at 040 is a strong bid. Okay, so they seemed to read that little bit of buying there as possibly significant, for a moment at least. Well, it didn't hold for very long. I'm talking about the E-mini here. Tesla price cuts to impact used car prices, says letter. So now that big offer is completely gone. I'm getting another cluster here in the E-mini. Well, the E-mini pulled back and Treasuries ticked up. I find it suspicious that that 05 half is going offer so easily, but that was that whole area where it was doing that. Really. It's funny that when I put the, often when I do that and I try and get the second one, it does not get filled. That E-mini looks negative to me. Oh, here's consumer sentiment. Actual 96.9 versus a previous of 98.4, so a little bit less than expected. And the inflation expectations, I'm not getting that reading yet. 2.4 versus a previous reading of 2.5, so that would make a move up here. Would totally make sense in that context. Okay. So here's an edge right here in the profile. And there's not like a huge drop off, but we're in a low spot right here. We're about to go into it. So are they going to hit this and then try and push this other side? It looks like it. Too much trading there. Well, saved by the E-mini. But this shouldn't count because that's actually minus 10. So I'm still down like 6-6. There you go. What the heck are they doing out there? That is not music that I would normally expect to hear in my house in the morning. So I hope that some algorithm doesn't decide that it doesn't like that. I'm looking at the E-mini and I'm like, oh, I think it actually might go. But then I'm looking at it and I'm like, actually, I think I was right to take it there. Ah, flipped it. So I don't like the way that I got filled there. I was only looking for a small one anyways. But I really don't like the way that I got filled there. Should I just dump it? Let's wait here. The E-mini's still thinking here. 5 years actually showing some strong bids and stuff. There you go. Mm. Do you talk about algorithms a bit? Say hi. Oh man. Okay. Well, that one did end up working out. Okay, I'm going to tell them to turn the music off. Hold on. All right. Well, what do you guys think? Had my little bit of a tilt there. Now it's doing the zipper thing. What a day. What a weird day. University of Michigan sentiment slides as tax quote unquote hope tumbles. Move down. No. So here again, I'm filled. Well, I actually marketed into that, didn't I? But I'm immediately unhappy about what it's doing. The E-mini does appear to be making a turn and trying to go higher. There's a little tick down in the 5-year. It would be weird if it stopped here in like right in the middle of this range, but it's possible. Anything's possible. Anything's possible. Okay, something going on there in the E-mini at 29.1075. Hate it when it does that. You know, it ticks down and there's something there immediately to prevent it from doing so, but they did. You know, oh, see, like that sort of a thing. This is annoying. You're all like, oh, I got my tick. No, maybe. See, now you mean you going towards lows again. So if it stops here at 050 and goes higher, I'm gonna laugh. Could do it. It's just an very unusual place for it to stop. There's a lot of liquidity above us in the 5-year, though. What about ZT? Has ZT been giving us clues here? Where are you? Where are you, buddy? Down tick. I think my ZT is actually still messed up. So I don't think they're 092 is both bid and offer. That's not supposed to. That's not right. Okay. So the equities appear to be struggling here. Oh, they're going to go without me. See, it looked like I was could have gotten filled there, but I guess it was a little bit too late. I'm not so sure I want to buy 06 half either. Saudi Arabia offered a Libyan warlord tens of millions of dollars to help fund his offensive to take Tripoli, Saudi officials said. So is that why the Saudi is offering so much? Is that they really need the money? Well, but it's for their Aramco. I don't know. That whole thing is kind of weird to me. Clearly, the news understands why it's important, and it is, like Treasury stuff that we should care about. But I don't 100%. Seems like there's something about it that I'm missing. Well, they're still saying we're not going to fill you at 05 half. Hey, Seth, come by 06. It'd be great. Even the Democrats now say that our southern border is a crisis and a national emergency. Hopefully, we will not be getting any more bad, outrageous court decisions. Ooh. Greenlight Capital says Tesla on the brink of failure. Is it really that bad over there? See, this action right here at 06 says to me that I was totally right at 05.5, but I could be considering taking it off at 06. We might get another move up. It is arranging around a lot here. Oh, did you see the story about the White House considered releasing migrants into sanctuary cities? Yeah, that was. I don't know what the deal is with that one. Here's the thing with that story. Where did that come from? So they said, "Hey, maybe we should do this," and I said, "No, that's a bad idea." Okay, cool. So it sounds like, the system worked the way it's supposed to. They shut down a really bad idea and didn't do it. But you almost have to wonder if maybe they wanted that out there, you know? Because now everybody's talking about it. And I think that people in sanctuary cities have to be thinking, hey, maybe this sanctuary city policy is a really bad idea. GBL overshooting? Oh, there you go. Oh, 6.5. Since I didn't buy it at oh 06, now they're going to make sure I regret it. China's debt bomb is back. Beijing injects the most ever credit for the month of March. You can't detain them. You can't process them. You can't release them into sanctuary cities. No winning. Well, I do, it is kind of like if you have to do catch and release, you might as well put them in there. I don't know. The funny thing is, why are they complaining? Yeah, it's like, oh, we're doing what you wanted. If we have to release them into the United States, we might as well release them into the communities that have shown that they want to have them. And now, all of a sudden, you don't actually want them? Oh, maybe illegal immigration is actually not a good thing for the citizens of the United States. That's why you don't want them in your city. Yeah, you want open borders here, have them. I mean, the thing that's so silly about all this is that immigration is a good thing. It really is, folks. Population growth leads to GDP. And if you're having a declining population, that can be a problem for a lot of the businesses that we have. It would actually be a good thing for most lower middle class people. Less competition, better wages, and you kind of would see that sort of thing that, like, after World War II, the people that did actually survive, there was some benefits to that. But when it's illegal immigration and it's happening the way that it's happening right now, it's a bad thing, right? Like, there's a certain number of people that you should allow. It should be, based on numbers that economists and population scientists determine. And that should be how many people we let in. And they should, the number of people that they let in should be proportional to the people that are already here. Not because I'm sitting here like, this country should remain a country like this. It's just that I think that when you try and change the demographics of a country, you're going to have problems. You're going to have problems. And so it's better that the immigration that comes in matches the already existing demographics of the population. But not terribly important thing, I guess. Organic migration is a good thing. Mass migration brought on by propagating open borders policies and NGOs trafficking people in by the thousands of foot is terrible. Well, yeah, and so that's the other thing is, like, they're saying like 100,000 people in a month. That's not there is no way you can have that sort of thing be happening, and it's not good for a country. Yeah. This is the first time in history a prior generation, boomers, will be larger than the working people. Need migrants to sustain that. Well, that's the theory that I hear. I'm not 100% sure if that's why some policymakers are pushing it, but it's certainly true that you're going to have a hard time sustaining a lot of those social programs. Yeah, cry the system. So like the thing that I think is kind of frustrating is like I think that Republicans need to turn the tables on them. It's is like, okay, you don't like what we're doing. What do you think we should do? And then when they say I don't know, because that's you watch, that's what they're gonna do. That's what they do. When this argument comes up, and you say, okay, what policy do you think we should have right now? And they'll say, well, I don't know. I just don't think we should be caging children. Well, okay. So really what you're saying is just let everybody in. Because that's the end result of what they're saying. It's like, yeah, so the big buyers are more aggressive. I agree with that there, Allie. But I can't buy 06 half. And it's close to 8:30, so I don't think I'm actually going to take any trades. And now that we're starting to talk politics, everybody's going to be like, uh-oh, they're talking politics. All of the people that don't like the politics are going to disappear. But anyways, it's like, oh, I'm not for open borders. Oh, okay, cool. So then what do you think we should do? Oh, I don't know. I just don't think that we should be so inhumane. So then, like, we should just let them all go. Like really, what they're doing right now is they're hands off on it. They're kind of ignoring that there's a problem that needs to be solved legislatively, and just letting the problem flood the system, right? Like there's no other way to put that. Ted Cruz wrote a bill that would fix this problem, that they could pick up in the Senate and in the House today if they wanted to, and they chose not to do it. Right? There's no other way around that. This whole thing that's going on in the border is the Democrat Party's fault. I just don't see any other way of doing it. Now, if the Democrat Party had proposed a bill that would stop the dissuade people from trying to come over the border, fix the loophole, then it would be a different story. But they haven't. So they were buying there, and now it's back to 05 half again. And I'm worried if I get filled on a sweep, then that's bad. Dems are a joke. Obama had pretty much the same policy. That's not entirely true. Even Hillary advocated for whaling off the border before Trump came on the scene. So like they were very Obama. What Obama did was kind of weird, because he was super hawkish in the beginning about it, and then he was like, well, it's not working, so I'm just gonna let all the kids in. And then it was like a complete disaster. And it's kind of led to the situation that we're in today. Still nobody willing to hit me at 05 half. I don't think it's going to happen. I should cancel it so that we move down and we'll go right in there and fill me and go up. Anyways, but we do have to remember, Jeff Sessions did make a policy change that made it so that you like separating the families. Like there was a policy change that caused that. Yeah, family separations did happen under the Obama administration, but Donald Trump changed something, and the results of that change have not been too good, because it meant that they were separating kids, and that some of the kids were not being reunited with their families. It's like, that's the thing that's super scary about it, is that like they said that all of these kids, like they're just still sitting there in the governments or in foster homes, and like the parents never come back and get them. Like, what? Are you kidding me, man? Like, that's what's happening? I don't know. I don't understand. Got to be understanding, because I'm sure that some of those people are like super afraid to even go back and try and go through the process, and they might not even know what they've got to do to get their kids back. But part of me is like, well, if you're not willing to, if you're not going to go back and get your own effing kid, man, come on. The whole thing is a mess. And even though there's a lot of it's a complicated issue, and both sides have some points and everything, I think that you're going to see eventually Democrats are going to pay for it. Mm. Another thing that bothers me is that they're going to build more private prisons and put people in there and make money off of it from taxpayers. Yeah, you know, they've been saying that the United States at some points has had more people incarcerated than many points in the Soviet Union when there were so many people in the gulag. Like, that actually kind of is a weird. Of course, it's not. It's more complicated than that. There was like one period in Russia where it was much, much higher, and it's never been higher than that in anywhere in the world than at that one particular point of the time. But there's some overlap, right? That's crazy to me. Why is there so many people in prison? Because of drugs? It seems like it's because of drugs. Wells Fargo erases Keene, falls 1.1%. Anyways, I think that you got. Well, so there's a Russian person, something BitMEX. I don't trade on BitMEX because I'm in the United States and they don't allow United States customers. And I want to do this all kosher. So I'm not going to go and. Oh boy. Okay. I'm not going to go and get a VPN and get around their restrictions. I want to do it all kosher. So don't trade on BitMEX. If I could, maybe I would go over there and would have sold it short. But by the way, where is Bitcoin today? 50, 70, maybe possibly moving down. Anyways, I see kind of three things going on in the Democrat Party right now, right? The first thing is this whole immigration thing, where the honest truth of it is that they are creating a crisis and then just kind of sitting back and saying, oh, look, see, you're so inhumane, naughty you, and not actually offering any solutions or doing anything to help about the issue. That's the first thing that they're doing. And I think the large portion of the population out there seems to be falling for it, but it's the Trump supporters, it is really galvanizing them. Like, his base of support, that just makes them even more likely to be enthusiastic about him and everything like that in 2020. So that's the first thing that's going on, right? The second thing that's going on is that all of their candidates have been very, very far left so far in the presidential primaries. Like, these candidates are pushing for reparations and tax this and tax that, and it's nothing but let's tax people and then, you know, have more welfare programs, which normally is kind of like a, you know, some people like that and some people don't. But this time around, they are so liberal. You're having a lot of people that are saying, well, I don't want communism. That really is. And that very much can hurt Democrats in battleground states, right? And then the third thing that I see happening is that the Democrats' strategy seems to be heavily invested in investigations, trying to show that the Trump administration is doing something naughty and so we need to get rid of them, and not actually legislating, right? And you even have this thing where like those three female House members that are super liberal just seem to be pulling them off of their messaging all the time. And Pelosi seems to be afraid to actually pursue the agenda that they wanted to do, like in the midterms that they talked about and they started doing, but now they can't do it because AOC and Omar and who's the other one, Talib, are all jamming up the process. And so now Pelosi is afraid of the political fallout, and she's afraid to do anything about it, right? Miraculously, the Dem Party is a mess. They have liberals and socialists in the same party. In the other countries, those are opposition parties, and it shows. They just despise AOC and Omar. They already decided to run against Omar, and she's only just voted in. Yeah, I think that probably all three of those are going to get challenged. All three of those people are probably going to get challenged by people inside of the party because they think that they've caused too much trouble. So when you look at it from that lens, I think that the Democrat Party is in a real mess. And here's the problem. Oh, so let me read this comment here first, please. Finding a common ground and not say it's all black and white, like you say. It's not a Democrat bad or Republican good. It's not a Republican bad, Republican good. You used to think. Yeah. So here's kind of the thing that concerns me about this, because I think, please tell me the top three exchanges. I would use Coinbase. I think that you should look at Bitfinex price. And what's the European one? I forget the name of the European one at the moment. It'll come back to me in a second. Okay, anyways, my point. This is an important point. Here's the problem with Democrats. And it's the same problem that is with conservatives and with Republicans and with Christians and with Muslims and any other group of, that seems to have political interests in the world. Here's the problem. They think that the world would be better if everybody thought the way that they think. And that is very, very wrong. The United States as a country has been successful because we have a two-party system that is completely at each other's throats all the time and is extremely opposed to each other. And it causes a lot of gridlock and things like that. But overall, that system has helped the United States. And we did not fall into some of the pitfalls that other countries did with things such as socialism. For instance, in Europe, they have like 5 parties. And then because of the imbalance that's created when you create more than 2 groups, the socialists are able to get power and push things through. And you might be able to push things through even though the majority of the population is against it, because the population that's against it is split between themselves, right? The two-party system in the United States works very well. And the thing that concerns me that I see today is that the Democrat Party is a fucking joke. And that is a bad thing for the country. We need to get back to the Democrat Party of like Bill Clinton, all right? Maybe even the Democrat Party of what it was supposed to be under Obama, but then Obama didn't do, right? Where's this party that when you have a potential FISA abuse, secret court giving permission to literally spy on campaign advisors for the Trump campaign, right? They're literally spying on them. I don't think that they had enough really to justify doing that. We'll see. They'll do an investigation, but that is something that traditionally the liberals, the Democrat Party in the United States would be very concerned about. Traditionally, they were always very concerned about surveillance. They didn't like the Patriot Act. All of these things that George Bush did that really increased and gave these federal agencies more power to, survey citizens and so forth. Where's that Democrat Party? Huh? It was like Obama came along and they decided that didn't matter and they just completely threw it out the window. Right? And you can see how our policy has suffered for it, right? Because now you can literally spy on an opposing campaign and maybe possibly get away with it. Like, since that's not the way that things are supposed to work, folks. And it's not because the Republicans are so evil or anything like that. And it's not because those powerful Democrats are so strong and didn't do these evil things. No, it's because the Democrat Party has become a fucking joke. And I hope in this next election, what I personally would like to see, and I normally don't like to get this far into my opinion, but this is what I want to happen. I hope that the Democrat Party gets absolutely demolished. I hope that they come out of this election and go, oh, hey, maybe going completely off the rails and not doing policy and trying to whip up Americans against each other is not a very good way to win an election. I hope that happens. Let me type it here in things so that people here in Discord know what we're talking about. So what do you think of Snowden? So this is a difficult subject. So let's talk about Julian Assange, because Julian Assange was indicted, and they're going to try and extradite him. And the charge is conspiracy to commit computer hacking. So he said, here, I'll try and hack this password for you. Now, apparently it didn't work. But there was a conspiracy there, and he was totally trying to do something that he shouldn't have. So we have this conundrum here. I think that there is information out there that needs to be released sometimes, and that there needs to be organizations like WikiLeaks that can be an effective way of getting that kind of information out there to the public where it needs to be. And sometimes you have to get around government rules and barriers in order to do that. But on the other hand, the people that are doing this right now are also doing other things that they should not be doing and that are clearly illegal. Shouldn't be trying to hack into the system. Shouldn't. And so there's a conundrum. It's like, we need Julian Assange, but I really wish that it was somebody else, that wasn't just out to try and hurt the US and wants to hack everything. So it's the same thing with Snowden. I think he did an admirable thing. I think that he alerted the public to something that the public deserved to know. And it's disturbing to me that they didn't, that we haven't changed anything. That it wasn't like a huge wake up call to be like, hey, we should do something about this. But on the other hand, he did kind of flee and went to the Russians and probably told the Russians all sorts of things that he shouldn't have, and is seeking asylum there. If it was me, well, first of all, if it was me, I would be releasing something like that through the proper whistleblower channels that the government creates. And I would never, if I had a top secret clearance of that sort of thing, I would definitely not be abusing it. And I think that maybe he went about it the wrong way, right? There's like government processes that you're supposed to go through for these sorts of things. and he didn't use it. So I would never do that sort of a thing, right? I don't think that I'm ever going to do a job that requires a security clearance, but I think that if I did, we would follow the rules and everything like that. But if I was in his position, I wouldn't have fled. I would have stayed. I would have said, okay, you're going to put me in isolation. I'm probably going to go crazy when you stick me in jail for a year and a half in isolation. But that's what's required. And I would, if I broke laws, like it was illegal to release that information, I would say, fine, yes, I broke the law and I'm willing to accept the consequences of doing that law, of breaking that law, and hope that I get pardoned. You know what? I think that if Snowden had stayed and he had gotten prosecuted for that, I think there's a good chance that he would have gotten pardoned. I mean, Chelsea Manning, who was much... He didn't really provide us something nearly as important as Snowden did. I think that Bradley Manning was way worse about it. And Obama gave him a pardon. So maybe if Snowden had stayed, he would have gotten a pardon. That's what I think about that. Maybe, but I like to get into that because I think maybe that's kind of a unique opinion that you don't normally hear. Julian Assange didn't hack anything. He just published things just like any other newspaper has done in the past. Supposedly they tried. So like the thing is I think that they have like communications between him and Bradley Manning that where they were trying to hack, and he tried to help Manning get greater access to the system. I think it was more so that they could hide the tracks so that they would never know that it was Manning, but it was unsuccessful. But apparently he did do it. But you're right. He just published things just like newspapers have done in the past. And I kind of like that the United States is not charging him for that particular thing. They do appear to be saying that because, they are kind of saying that, yeah, they can publish it, but you can't hack to get it. And so I think that they're doing, the government is going about it the right way. Manning got his pardon because he's a transgender? Maybe. That whole thing is just so weird. Here's the thing that blows my mind. Oh my gosh. Well, there's two things like this. And then I got to post my notes and go because it's 8:45 and we got to be gone by 9 o'clock. Two more things. Maybe more than that after I see this. We'll see what you guys say. But Manning is crazy. Well, he's not crazy, but that person is not well. He comes, so he gets pardoned, and then he's going to run for president. Okay, so like to me, that he thinks that he even stands a chance and that he should run for president is like already an indication that that guy's messed up in the head, right? Like you have no chance that you're going to become president, and it's probably not going to turn out very well for you. Like if you actually do well, then people are going to come in and hit you, and it's not going to turn out well for you. Like you got your pardon. If it was me, I was like, I had my moment. I just want to be left alone. That's what I would do. That's probably wrong, but that's what I would do. But then he announces that he's going to run for president, and then he tweets basically like that he's going to commit suicide. Like, what, dude? Are you kidding me? It's just, and there's all these people in the Democrat Party that are like cheering this sort of thing on until he is like, oh, I'm going to kill myself. And then all of a sudden they realize like, maybe we shouldn't have been encouraging this. Maybe this person is not well and we shouldn't have been egging them on, right? This isn't the only time that this has happened either, because this happened with that anti-Trump attorney. What is his name? I'm embarrassed that I can't remember his name. What is it? No, I'm gonna remember it. I'm not gonna look. You guys are gonna tell me, but I'm not gonna look. Avenatti. That's right. Avenatti. Did somebody beat me to it? Nope. I think the running for president is spite and looks for vindication. Manning got tortured. Schultz. I don't know who Schultz is. No, I was talking about Avenatti. Okay, so here we have Avenatti, another person who, as far as I can tell, there's definitely something wrong with him. Like when he gets on television and saying some of the things that he does and the way that he does, you have to be saying, guys, there's something wrong with this guy. And then they say, oh, he should run for president. There was people like supposedly respectable pundits out there. It kind of makes me mad because I don't want to be a pundit on television necessarily. Like, I want to trade. That's the main thing that I do. But I wouldn't mind maybe more interest in some of my political opinion on YouTube. And I can clearly see that Avenatti is crazy. But then you have these people that apparently, companies think are good enough at this to pay serious money to sit and give their opinion on TV. And they think that he could possibly be a front runner for the Democrat nomination. And then he gets indicted on, what was it, like 36 counts. 36 counts. That guy was involved in some messed up stuff. He was embezzling some old lady that he worked for like millions of dollars. And they thought that he was a realistic candidate for president. Yeah, you got to stop encouraging this kind of nonsense. It's not. It's not smart. I think that the Democrat Party has been pulled around way too much by the news cycle. Like, if you're a Democrat, man, and you really do believe in like those ideals and properties, like I think that's good, because like the thing is that a lot of those beliefs are actually come from your personality. Like if you're a person that's a very orderly person, then you tend to want more conservative things, and if you're not, then you tend to want more liberal things. And they have to battle back and forth, because if it was only conservatives, then we would never try anything new. We would still be in the Middle Ages, no doubt about it, with Democrats. But if you just let the liberals take control, then we already know what happens with that and communism and so forth, right? So you need to have both. And I'm just telling you, if you're a Democrat, maybe turn the television off. Frankly, stop. Don't watch CNN. Turn the television off. You should be informed. You should read the news, but like maybe not. Don't read the news unless it's Sunday. Like a week later, and then you can read about it, or only when it's things that are important. But don't be sitting on Twitter ready to tweet about whatever it is that happened that day and give your snap opinion on it and try and be one of the first people so that you can get the most amount of likes. And I'm telling you, it's bad for you. It's bad for you, and it's causing the Democrat Party to do stupid shit. It's the Twitter effect. I'm telling you, Twitter is creating a clown world. Yeah, it is. I'm telling you, that shit messes. I need to not swear. It messes with your head. It does. Like we know from studies and stuff. Like when you get dopamine, it can like actually change the structures in your brain, and it changes the way that you think. And our brain was not meant to be subjected to that much stimulation. It wasn't. Well, liberals lead to communism. Liberals are capitalists, but they put private profit above personal well-being. Well, yes and no. So like a classical liberal is very focused on freedoms, right? You'll notice most communists governments have constitutions with a lot of rights, usually more rights than we have. Because then they start including rights like that you have right to things, like you have a right to a living wage and all of that sort of a thing, right? So there are some people that are communists that probably do actually think of themselves as liberals. But the problem is that some liberal ideas are a little bit too pie in the sky, too optimistic, and fall apart when they hit reality, you know? Yeah. No, well, progressive, maybe I'll use the word like progressives. But when I'm using the word liberal, I'm talking about more about people that want to change things, right? There are people, they tend to think of themselves as like a very good moral person, and they want to make the world a better place, and they want to look at the structures of government, and they want to use the government to make the world a better place. That's what I think of as a liberal. A liberal in the sense of like, you know, like after the French Revolution. Conservatives want things to stay the same. Liberals want to change things. If you stick with the conservatives, then you get the dark ages for forever and ever and ever. And if you completely go with the liberals, then they create ideas like communism that are complete disasters. Right? Or they do something that just crashes your economy in general, like a financial transaction tax, something like that. Yeah. Anyways, that's why you need to have both. They have to balance each other out. Like we as humans evolved that way. Some people have a personality that leads them to be liberal. Some people have a personality that leads them to be conservative. And those people tend to congregate together because of the way that people are. But they're meant to intermingle, and you need to have both groups within your community. Mm-hmm. When I hear liberal, I'm more inclined to view it from a European lens and hear that center right. You got that. I don't really like the way that they kind of name things in Europe, because I feel like that a lot of it is they chose that name to sound good, and that's not really what they are, you know. So I just think of it as one likes to change things and one doesn't, you know. Conservatives aren't necessarily opposed to changing things. It's just like, if you're going to change something, you're going to do something new that's never been done before, you better have a lot of really good data to back up the idea that it's going to work. Liberal, on the other hand, is, you know, they always want to change things, and they're even willing to take risks like, oh yeah, I know that this thing is a complete disaster every time that everybody ever tries it, but I'm so smart, I'm going to come up with the one change that's going to make it so that it works this time. Probably not. But like I said, there's a reason that some people have evolved to think that way. Like, we need people that think that way. We do. But Twitter. Twitter, I mean, ultimately, things like Twitter are good. But people are letting it get to them, man. I think that the best example is the Craftsman brothers. You know who I'm talking about? Those guys that are like literally at the top of every Donald Trump tweet attacking him and stuff. These guys literally sit there with their phone all day waiting for Donald Trump to tweet so that they can be the first person to respond to him. And like, they have notifications and everything set up so that they can try and be the first one. This is not good for you guys. Your brain was not it was not designed to handle that kind of stimulation. It leads to bad things. Maybe if that's you, you know, take a week. Turn the television off. Say to yourself, I'm not going to read anything about the news until a week later. I promise you, I've done this before. Like, when I go on vacation, I just don't do anything, and like significant stuff happens while I'm on vacation. All of a sudden, it's kind of like you view the news in a completely different light. Like, not everything is the end of the world, and not everything is super significant. It's all just a little detail in the larger tapestry. And all of a sudden you realize, really what we need to do is we need to think bigger picture about what I actually want to accomplish. And when I get overly excited about every tiny little thing that happens, that is actually counterproductive to what my goal is. What do those brothers gain from that? I don't know. I really don't know. But the thing that's so funny is um the lengths that people will go just for the approval from other people. The karma, the fact that 1,000 people liked your post, or that 12 people come and watch you stream, can be a great reward and cause people to go to great lengths to do things. You would think that money would incentivize them to do that sort of a stuff, but no. Anyways, I have now gone to 9 o'clock, so I've got to go. I will catch you guys next week. I'm not too happy with the way things went, even though with the E-mini trade, I came out positive. But when you take that out, we're actually down about 4 ticks. But just having 3 losses in a row is always something that I want to avoid and shouldn't happen, and I'm unhappy about it. And then there was a 4th one in the ZN2, which is bad too. I did eventually pull it out, but I think it was a little bit lucky. So this is why I don't like this time of year. This is exactly the sort of thing that happens. Maybe it's a self-fulfilling prophecy, but we've got to work on this. Like, as she goes, trades right now are not allowed. They don't work right now, I don't think. There's got to be like news going on or something for me to be taking that. All right. I will catch you guys later. In the meantime, stay profitable, friends.